Here we are in section 4-2, exercises numbers 1 through 6. Add or subtract and then simplify. So here we have a subtraction problem. So remember, we've got to put the strongest on top, and we have to get common denominators to set it up correctly. So let's look at the denominators. 4, hey, it goes into 8, so this is going to be a nice one. We're going to times by 2 and times by 2. Now remember, the strongest one goes on top, so it's negative 23 and 7/8. And 5, and let me see, what is that? 3 times 2 is 6/8. 7 minus 6 is 1. 3 minus 5 is too small, so we borrow. 13 minus 5 is 8. 1 minus 0 is 1. And the strongest one, which is negative, wins. Negative 18 and 1/8. Good. Next one, number 2. 13 and 3/10 and 7 and 1/16. Huh. Let me see. Let me see, this is 2 times 5, and that's 2 times 8, which is 2 times 2 times 2. So we need to have all the 2's, so basically 16 times 5. All right, so 16 times 5 is what's going to happen there. Let me see, 16 times 5, 16 times 5 is 80. So when we times by 5 and times by, this would be a times by an 8. That's what will happen. So we get 13 and 24/80 plus 1 and 35/80. And add those together. 24 plus 35, 4 plus 5 is 9. 2 plus 3 is 5. 80ths, good. 3 plus 1 is a 4. 1, 14, and 59/80. Good deal. Can that simplify at all? I don't think so. All right, the next one. 735/61.5. Let's move the decimal 1, 2 places here. So we actually have a 7 going into 1, 2 places there. 35.615. Okay, so 7 goes into 3. No, 7 goes into 35. Yes, 5 times. That's a 35. That comes out pretty nice. 0, 6. That goes in 0 times. 0 times 7 is 0. Subtract, and we get 6. Drop down the 1. 7 goes into 61. Not quite 9 times. 8 times. 8 times 7 is 56. Subtract that, and we'll get a 5. Drop down that 5. 7 goes into 55. Ooh, not quite 8 times. 7 times. 7 times 7 is 49. Subtract, and we get a 6. Now, if we added some more zeros here, let's add one more so we can then round to the nearest decimal place. 60. So 7 goes into 60 7 times, and that gives us all we need to know. So if we cut it off right here, that tells us we're going to do 5.088. If we rounded at 3 decimal places, oh, that would have been an 8. Sorry about that. 7 goes into 60. That would have been 56. And 8 times. So 8, 7, 8. So if you stop it right there, it's 0.88. If you would have gone one more decimal place, let's see what that would have done. So if we had a 60, 8 times 7 was 56. Subtract, and we get a 4. Drop down a 0. 7 goes into 40, 30, 35. 5 times. So that would have caused that one. If we would have rounded at one more decimal place, it would have been 5.0879. So you could have written that answer, or 5.088 would have been okay. All right, next one. 0.6, so we're going to move it one place. So we get 6. Let's put it over here. 6 goes into, and we're going to move it that way. So 76.47. 6 goes into 7 once. That's a 6. Subtract, and we get 1 with a 6 down here. 6 goes into 16 twice. That's 12. Subtract, and we get a 4. Bring down the 4. Decimal point goes right there above it. 6 goes into 44 7 times. That's 42. 20. Drop down the 7. 6 goes into 27 4 times. And that's 24. Subtract, and we get a 3. And now we have zeros if we want more decimal places. Oh, we only need one. 6 goes into 30 5 times. Hey, it stopped. That was pretty nice. Didn't have to worry about word around on that one. 12.745. Great. Okay, number 5. Get 28 miles per gallon. So that's 28 miles per gallon. How much is the cost of driving in dollars per mile? So the question is, how many dollars per mile are we doing right now? So, we've started this off wrong. Yeah, look at that. We can't use that one. Miles has to be on the bottom. So we need to start off with saying 1 gallon for 28 miles. Okay, and we're going to times it by, it says $3 per gallon. So $3 per gallon. Is that going to be the right one? Yes, gallons will cancel and we'll end up with dollars on top and miles on the bottom. Excellent. So we have gallons cancel. Let's do that. And so we have 3 divided by 28. 3 divided by 28. Put some decimal points on here. 28 goes into 30 one time. It's 28. Subtract is a 2. Bring down a 0. 28 goes into 20. No, it doesn't. Times that, 0, subtract, and we get 20. Now drop down another 0. 28 goes into 200. Ooh, that's a lot. Let me see. Might go in maybe, let me see, 2 goes into 20, or 3 goes into 20. What, 6 times? Let's try 6. Let's see what happens there. 6 times 8 is 48. And 6 times 2 is 12, plus 4 is 16. Let me see, that's 32. Oh, that's bigger. So, 7 times. There we go. 7 times 8 is 56. Carry a 5. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 5 is 196. Good deal. Now notice we're getting dollars, so we're going to try to round right here. So we look at the 7, that makes it an 11.11, 11 cents per mile. Good. All right, number 6. And on this one, we do get to use a calculator, so it'll feel like cheating for just a moment, but we've got to set it up correctly. So it's traveling at 30 feet per second. And what we have to do, we have to get it to how many miles per hour. So we've got to have miles per hour. So we have to times it by these conversion factors that change feet into miles, which is this one right here. So that's 5,280 feet per mile. Oh, shoot, that's the wrong way to write it. See how miles needs to end up on the top and feet need to cancel? Yep, we got to switch that upside down to use it. So we've got 1 mile for 5,280 feet. So the feet are cancel and we're left with miles per second. So we have to change seconds into hours. Well, seconds can go into minutes. So we've got 60 seconds per 1 minute. And you can see what will happen. The seconds go and minutes are now there. So we're in times by 60 minutes per hour. Right. And so if we have 60 minutes per hour, minutes will cancel and we'll be left with miles per hour. So we have 30 times 60 times 60 divided by 5,280. So if we did, that's something like 10,0800 divided by 5,280. And here's where the calculator is going to come in really, really handy. So if we take 30 times 60 times 60, yep, that's right, it's 108,000. Just punch that in my calculator, and we're dividing it by 5,280. I can kind of see why they suggested use a calculator on this one. That's pretty big. Divide that by 5,280, punch it in the calculator, and we get 20.454545 on forever. So if you round to the nearest one, you would write it as 20.5 miles per hour. Oh, it's on a bike ride. Yeah, so 30 feet per second is 20.4545, and you could have rounded here. That would have been an okay answer, or leave it at 1 decimal place. That would have been all right as well. Great.